Greetings, sunshines and sunnies. It is I, Queen Scarlet, Pimp Sunkiss, coming at y'all right quick, right fast, maybe, with a relaxed royale reaction and review for the Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 14, episode 10? I don't know. Whatever it is, we ain't gonna waste no more time. We're gonna go on here and get into, without further ado. Child, come through with the music, the little intro music at the very beginning of the episode. What is here? Okay. I want this out again, how we tend to start off with the ladies and their kids, just for us to finish off with foolishness. I love it. I think it's like super duper cute. We're at this. Is it a jumping place or just a regular place? Some type of playful excursion with Kansas and Kenya and Blaze and Brookie. And Candy is going through about how far her and Kenya have come, how she has been a big sister to Kenya, and now Kenya's baby gets to be a big sister type figure to her baby Blaze or whatever. And also reminiscing about the things that she had to go through in order to bring Blaze into the world, IVF and surrogacy and everything of that nature. Real beautiful, real beautiful and glorious and everything. I love it. Kenya gets into talking about the mishaps and everything that she's been having with her business concerning shipping, and she doesn't have a team and all of that. So Kenzie asks her a specific question that deals with business and transporting and things of that nature, and Kenya's like, see, that's exactly what I need. You're the only person that asked me that because you actually know what you're talking about. So Kenzie's asking her, you know, what exactly does she need and what does she need from her to help her get it. Making sure my mic is on. But so Kenzie is basically extending a lot of support and advice to Kenya about her business and the things that she can do and how she needs to get a team and all this good stuff. So I'm glad that they're having a conversation like this and that they have a relationship where they are able to have a conversation like this, because y'all know I have mentioned how all of these women on here, and they all have all of these different things going for them so big and going on with them also in real life. Why don't they lean on each other more? So this is a very good representation of them using what they got to get what they want, which is their relationships with each other, being great, being queens, coming together and collabing and whatnot. And we are always here for it. Yeah, ma'am. And also I commend Kenya for asking for help and being transparent and making herself vulnerable in the situation, because a lot of times people can get to a certain level and think that they are beyond asking questions, that they are beyond receiving support, or they are beyond being taught and led somewhere. So shout out to Kenya and Kenzie for this marvelous thing. So they get into a conversation about the happenings from the last event. And Candy talks about how she went into the bathroom, she bumped into Marlo, and she like, hey girl, how you doing? What's going on? You been really nice today and all this good stuff. And then Marlo, you know, starts spilling out saying she kicked the kids out, she told them to get the fuck out and all this and that. And so they give their honest opinions on the situation. And basically the same thing that many of us have already been saying. Marlo, you're adding to their trauma, you're doing to them what's been done to you and what's already been done to them. And you told them get the fuck out. And when you made the commitment to take them in, then you committed to putting yourself kind of second, third to their needs. And it doesn't mean that you don't prioritize time in for yourself or prioritize in therapy so that you have someone to talk to and confide in, you know, things of that nature, so that you don't lash out and just kick kids out whenever they're not doing what you want them to do, because, you know, they're kids and they're human and they have moments. Yeah. So, and Kenzie is actually speaking from experience. So that adds more validity to what we saying and what we've been saying. Marlo, you fucked up. Tisk. And she tells Kenya not to let Marlo get to her, and this, that, and the third. And Kenya like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, girl, you right, all that good stuff. And I don't want to talk about no more foolishness. Let's go play with the kids. So they go play with the kids. And we're moving on to the next scene. So moving on, everybody's get up and excited, getting ready to go and whatnot. For Marlo's trip, that is. But we get a little snippet with Sanya and her sister, I believe that is. And Sanya got a fitness deal with iFit. Her and her husband, so they gonna go out to Florida and fill out the headquarters and see what they talking about and see what they gonna do, because apparently iFit has some equipment that is very engaging and interactive, make you feel like you're working out with the athletes that are involved. I guess kind of like the Peloton is called, where they have like the realistic trails and realistic like I think it's called a metaverse type shit. But yeah, saying you got a fitness deal and it sound legit. It sound like, okay, clucks coins. Okay, so we get back on over to Kenzie, and Kenzie's packing her stuff. She's like, why do I need a swimsuit to go camping? And such and such, whoever that is in the scene with her child, I wasn't paying attention, I'm sorry. But they was like the hot tub girl, so she called Marlo, and she also has to be the one to fill Marlo in that Kenya ain't going. Kenya ain't going on the trip, that's what she's saying. And Marlo said, oh, well, we'll survive without her. Of course you will. You don't have nobody that you got to compete for camera time with. Okay. Oh, except maybe Drew. Moving on. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Marlo's doing a scene with her sister Crystal, and they're going through the ruins, if you will, of everything that happened between her and the boys, and she's, you know, reiterating everything that happened, how she felt about it, this, that, and the third. And she's showing Crystal around the room to show what she's talking about the clothes being all everywhere, they were sour, and Michael, one of the boys, having punched a hole in the wall. I don't like when people do this, because we know that children have moments, especially teenagers. We don't need you to exploit. Like, it's exploitive to me. You showed us the video of the clothes laying around. You told us the story 3 times in one episode. And I know that the scenes are, you know, like not all the same day, but still, you done told the story over and over again. You showed your video and all that good stuff. Why do you again have to film yourself, make a scene out of you walking through the crime scene? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? A teenage moment laced with some trauma has now become a crime scene. Because you feel such a need to do this. Why? It's giving tattletale vibes. It's giving, look at what they did, mama. Look at what they did to me. And you're an adult. It's embarrassing. It's humiliating to them. They don't deserve that. This is unnecessary. Because, okay, they did such and such. They not doing everything that they need to do. They acting out, showing out. What does that say about you and where they're coming from? Okay? Now, we already know that they've had a rough upbringing concerning their mother. And then, you know, it's some kinks to work out because they're in a new environment. They got to get used to a new guardian and new rules and all this, that, and the third. But regardless, what they do and how they act and react is a reflection of you and all of that. So your response is to exploit their behavior as opposed to immediately getting a therapist on the phone. Something else standing out to me. Marlo shows her sister the hole in the wall. She says, I told Michael he couldn't do something. I told him no to something while I was in New York, and he punched a hole in the wall. When Marlo told that story originally, she made it seem like she was there when he punched a hole in the wall. Like she walked in there, asked him to do something, and he spazzed out and punched a hole in the wall. Like it was like Marie's situation on Bill Collective, where she was addressing her son about his doings, and her son raged out and punched past her head and hit the wall, and then proceeded to punch more holes in the wall. It's not right that he punched a hole in the wall. Regardless, make him fix it. But I was having a little bit more compassion and understanding, because the way that Marlo had described it seemed like that's what she meant. That she walked in there, said something to him, and he started spazzing, being physically intimidating. In which I could understand her feeling some type of fear, because yeah, he is a teenage boy, but he's still a male, okay? And he has male-like strength. And if Marlo has dealt with any violence in the household coming up at any rate, let alone any violence with males, then something like that can scare her and trigger her. And I could see better her being like, you gotta go somewhere for a sec so I can get myself together. Even still, you know what I'm saying? It's a way to go about that, even when that is the case. But I find that to be more understanding than he did that when you were away and you got home, and then something not adding up here is what I'm getting at. Something is not totally adding up with this story, and it makes me feel like Marlo be talking to them boys crazy, and they all got smart ass mouths, and that's how shit really like boiled up type shit. Like, because I don't think Marlo be talking as nice to them off camera as she leads us to believe. And that's why when she's telling the story, it comes off like, look at what they did. Look at what they did to me. Like she's tattling, because she's also leaving out her part in the story. Marlo, you're not bad. Okay? Marlo, you're not bad for saying that you need a break. It's a way to go about things. It's a way to go about things. Marlo, as far as your mouth, you are already in the department as your mama, as it concerns them boys, and as it concerns in general, because you carry yourself in a miserable manner. You lead with miserable bitch. And as soon as somebody say good morning to you, you just took a low blow. So if that's something that you hated about your mama and you still carry that out, ain't no such thing as, oh, I'm gonna just save it for Kenya and all this other shit. Like, no. If that's in you and that's something that you hate about your mama, then we're dealing with some self-hate issues, darling. Some self-hate going on there. Something so simple, right, as your mouth. Get it the fuck together. You are grown as fuck. Y'all, I just get so sick of grown ass fucking people, old ass people. Oh, that's just how I am. This is what I mean. Oh, I get this from my mom. This is why I'm doing what I do. People be knowing exactly what they be doing and exactly why they be doing it. Do not make excuse. As soon as you hear somebody say, this is what I do and this is why I do it, and they say something other than this is what I'm doing to change it, or this is what I've done to alter it and reform it and all of that, this and that. They say anything other than something progressive and evolving after the fact. They ain't shit. And they don't want anything more for themselves or from themselves than to be basic. Or as old girl from Dubai say, as Ayan from Dubai say, basic. So yeah, that I was just snapping about because I didn't tell exactly what was going on. That's Marlo still talking to her sister. And Marlo was pretty much talking to her about her mouth. And you know how their mama was a fool by the mouth. And that's where Marlo get it from. And all this, that, and the third. So Marlo gets to, explaining why she is how she is and making excuses for it all over again. And finding ways to stay the same and all that shit. Pathetic. Sheree's in her boots. Sheree done hurt her foot, child. Sheree, what you doing? Go. What happened to you? Go. What happened? She said she was trying to try on some rain boots and her baby toe got caught as she was pushing her foot down in the boot, and the baby toe stayed back and the foot went ahead. Poor baby. Poor baby. Also, let me give you a little piece of advice and a little message for y'all out there. Foot damage connected to the root chakra. Some root chakra work to be done. So that concerns money. That concerns protection. It also concerns matters of men. So we're going to keep that in mind as it concerns Sheree going forward. What? Especially for this episode in particular. Okay, Marlo got cars coming through, picking them up and shit. And she sent cars. And they got bowls of fruit salad. Yummy, yummy. Yes. They can't eat in the car. What are you talking about? Candace says she can't eat. She don't want to ride in there. I heard the fuck out of it. Because what you mean they can't eat in the car? Marlo, you don't know how you and Kenya got back to this place, but every time you see Kenya, you coming out the side of your fucking neck on some bullshit. I'm not finna play with you. Not finna fucking play with you. Two black sisters can't just get along because one of them black sisters is a goddamn fool. And it's you, Marlo. It's you. And I think she sent a message to the other lady saying that they couldn't eat in the car or some petty shit because she know that Kenzie is gonna eat. I think that was a shot at Kenzie. Tell them they can't eat in the car because she want to get at Kenzie a little bit. Because they show over here is eating in their car. They call her whatever. And Candace said, why you send us these wings? And then you said, we can't eat in the car. And Marlo said, y'all don't want to think it was being ghetto or whatever. My bad, y'all enjoy the wings and whatnot. Okay, you played that real nice. You played that real nice. Okay. But hold up though. Because in there, Marlo said, girl, I want to think because I don't even eat in my car. You and Sheree are sitting up there eating in the car. Y'all were just eating. She's been looking really pretty. And she looks really pretty in this car ride. The baby hair is babying and everything. And she's just been looking really pretty. I'm here for it. Good Drew a compliment. She's really pretty. She's been looking damn good. Phone though, Kenzie asks about Fatum while on the phone with Marlo. And Drew was giving all types of stank. She is bothered by Miss Fatum. The cabin looked great. The cabin looked real great and all. But Sheree, that ass. Oh, Sheree. That ass. Oh yeah, I had forgot to mention. Sheree was doing some meeting for her fitness line. And she was talking about sewing and tailoring the fits to support those. Because some women are born like that, where they have a really slim waist and really wide hips and thick ass and all that shit. And Sheree was getting, her pieces modified for women who have that type of shape. And also when they get the BBLs and things of that nature. With consideration so that they can find pieces that fit them without them having to do so much to make it fit, to make it work. The house is really nice. The workout room, they got a pool, jacuzzi, hella different rooms. The living room area looks really nice, really posh. But also, like, it still looks campy on the inside, but like luxury campy. I like. And you better have the food on deck. You better have that food laid out, them charcuterie boards and everything. I know what it is. Charcuterie boards and everything laid out. Yes, because you know, folks, it's good for planning trips and not feeding people, having them wait and carrying on. Come through, Marlo. So before we get to the room pickings, we discussed Sonya right quick, right fast on her job, and they flash on over to showing us where she at, being interviewed and filling out the space or whatever for the new gig that she picking up. And a thought came to mind when I was looking at these concerning her inquisitiveness when it comes to Drew and her business. So I don't think that it's a jealousy thing when it came to that, like her being so like taken aback by it and interested in like what's really going on here, shit not making sense, the math ain't mathin' type shit. But I think it's a thing of, I ain't new to this, I'm true to this, I do this. And you saying you doing what now? I don't believe you, you need more people. And with that being said, because of the way that, you know, we were shown, we only got shown a snippet, but the types of things that the guy was asking Sonya, and then they showed like a video that she had been doing and some other vids of her working out and running and things of that nature. When you're in a particular industry and one of your friends is also in that industry, but not also in that industry, but like you don't know them to do what it is that you do. And then all of a sudden they're doing what you do. All of a sudden they do what you do. Not only are they all of a sudden doing what you do, but it seems to be some fugaziness going on. That'll alarm you, especially like if you really want to be a friend and you want to collab and you gonna want to like put in a good word for them here and there. You don't want to be looking crazy if and when you put in that good word. And then even still, okay, you just came over into the industry that I'm in. This is not what you usually do. It's not your brand. This hasn't been your brand. But now you over here. People know we cool. If you out here looking a fool and people know we cool, that's gonna reflect back on me. Especially if you all of a sudden just started doing this. Because even if I didn't bring you into this world, it's something that you just decided to do, I've been doing this. So if people know we friends, and then you just started doing this, and you out here looking a fool, you're lying, you got 57 aliases, you can't get your story straight, the math ain't mathin', the website crashing, you got to call Tom, Dick, Harry, Sally, Jane, Janet, and all of them to get the numbers for your stuff, to get information on your stuff. That's weird. That's weird. And I'm speaking from experience from someone who has been a part of a particular industry. And then all of a sudden your friend, and you know, imitation is a form of flattery, right? Some people imitate you to show that they like you, to show that they admire you. But that's not necessarily healthy. That can be obsessive and manipulative as well. It can be very toxic. And I'm just also going to point out how Drew shows up wearing replicas of OG's outfits. Also. Yeah, so with all that being said, I understand even more why Sanya was questioning Drew the way she was questioning Drew. And even more so, I can't really be mad at her for how she was moving. I can't really be mad. I'm going to be mad at her for some other stuff, but I ain't going to be mad at her for that. Moving on. So, for the room picking game, Marlo has a set of candles. This is cute. It's a good idea. She's something the fuck else, though. So, the candles have a name, and they have scents and things of that nature. So, she's going to describe the candle, and you have to guess who it belongs to. You get it right? You get, you're saying your dib on your room. So, the first one she pulls up is called Young Love. Smells like devotion and delusion. Who does it belong to? Now, I would say it belongs to Drew. Or Sheree. I would say Drew or Sheree. Drew says Sanya. Okay, girl. But Kenzie says Kenya. Just because, and the only reason that she would guess that is because it's Marlo that's handing them out. And Marlo loves to project on Kenya, doesn't she? Yeah. So, Kenzie got it right. It's Kenya's as far as Marlo is concerned. And she gives Kenzie the candle. Oh, these can't. She gives Candy the candle, and Candy get first dibs on the rooms. The true scent of that candle was also blackberry and rose, which sounds succulent. That sounds great. Can I have that? I would like that. The next one smells like good vibes and fresh gossip. Child, I still would have gave it to Sheree. Or she could have gave it to her ex-nay on the good vibe, tisk. I guess it's Kenzie. Monyetta call out Kenzie, and Monyetta gets second dibs on the room. Also, shout out to Monyetta for being here. Shout out to Monyetta for being here. If y'all don't get a girl a peach, a plum, a nectarine, a apricot, or something, I know something. Because she up here doing everything that she needs to be doing. Y'all better be paying her too. Because she giving. I like that. This game is bringing out Drew's true self. She's saying, me. We know you'll pick me, girl. Sit down. We know you'll pick me. When she pull up the pick me candle and it says, smells like me, pick me, please, me. Then we'll know it's yours. Tisk. So the next one she pulled up, it says, smells like high hopes and low expectations. Sheree quickly says, me. You better know your name, girl. Answer when you call. The next candle is smells like color-coded workout gear, color coordinated. Smells like color coordinated workout gear. Drew says, me. Marlo says, is it you? And then in a confessional, she says, well, maybe I should have made 2 delusional candles, but I only had 1 because Drew probably should have got the delusional candle. I said that. Did I not just say that? Did I not just say that was Drew's candle? But you just want to shade Kenya. You just want to shade Kenya. That was Drew's candle. Just make a pick me one, girl. Just make a pick me one. Smells like for my man and me. So yes, that color coordinator workout gear actually belongs to Sanya. And Drew says Sanya right after she gets her face cracked, and she goes up to pick a room. Bittersweet, child. And of course, Drew's candle, her actual, the one that describes her, is the last one. And it smells like repeated resolutions and wishful thinking. Okay. I still think the delusional one fit better. But she said, oh yeah, this one's yours, Drew. Duh, everybody else is taken. Everybody else is taken. What they say? Be yourself. Everyone else is taken. What they say? Love the skin you're in. Because everyone else is taken. Whichever one it is, everyone else is taken. So she said they finna get ready for dinner, and they only got 15 minutes, so they're gonna have to take a whole bath. So we're gonna say, anytime these ladies take a bath, it's the whole bath. Let's be clear. Child, what y'all be smelling right now? Cause, put on some perfume, wipe twice. Huh? Mama, what you talking about, girl? This is like a party bus. Whatever type of bus, RV this is, it's cute. It's real cute. So they get to dinner, they out to dinner or whatever, and Sanya's about to arrive. So they are ordering their food. We hear Marlo order for Sanya, because she's getting ready to come in. Candy is getting some text messages. We're gonna talk about them in a minute. But first, let's talk about what Drew is bringing up. She's bringing up that stale ass tea that Ralph served her about what Sanya said about them being busy. They act like they busy. They ain't busy. You busy. We all that shit. And Sheree or Marlo, one of them was saying, yeah, she was like, he said something to her like, y'all not as busy as us and something like that, which is is more close to what was said between the two of them than what Ralph said to Drew, which both interpretations can make sense, and why it's taken, either way can make sense. But this is bullshit. And once again, Drew doing the same exact thing that she called herself being mad, and that everybody called themselves being mad, is saying about making a mountain out of a molehill for a problem for camera time, and really showing that you kind of don't like Sonya, or you don't want to like her for real, that you really know more of a friend to her than you've accused her of not being to you. And when Marlo or Sheree, whichever one of them it was that said that, because they voice be sounding the same to me sometimes, even though, yeah, I'm looking at it, but I have ADHD, so bear with me, okay? Anywho, when one of them said what they said, because Sheree ends up, being the one that's speaking to her directly and having the conversation with her, Drew says, no, that's not what happened. He said this and she said that. Drew, you wasn't over there, so how you gonna just beyond a shadow of a doubt say, oh, that's not what he said, that's not what was said, that's not how it happened, when what Sheree is saying was said is actually more close to what was actually said, and the context and the tone of how it was said. Your husband was being messy, because with that being said, the way he presented it to you was on some messy shit, was in a way that, like, to sick you on Sonya, basically. Ralph said that shit. Ralph felt some type of way about the interaction that he had with Sonya, and he sicked his wife on Sonya. That's what the fuck is going on here. Drew wants a problem with Sonya now simply because of Ralph. Just the same thing I see with her and Fatum. And please don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that like everybody is right in the things that they've done in conflict with Drew. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is the way that Drew acts and reacts to things, and the way that she handles things and goes about it, shows that she's very male identified, and she doesn't really, she's not stupid. She has a mind of her own, but only when her husband gives her permission, or only when she feels like it's within the standard of her husband. It's like Ralph is a voice in her head. Ralph's voice and his rhetoric is one of her inner voices. And so when she spazzed out on Fatum, any of those times, she probably genuinely did not hear or was even really listening for what Fatum was saying to her. All she heard was Ralph, her husband, and knew that she needed to attack. She was supposed to attack because that's how she's been trained. And that's the same thing I see with this situation. Ralph put a bug in her ear and a battery in her back, and now she's sick to attack. It makes me think about that season of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, the reunion. Princess ran up on Tierra Marie, and when they was sitting there, they was arguing, and Ray J said, get her. She said, okay, and she ran up. It was just that quick. He said, get her. She ran up. It was just that quick. That's the same, like, it's not depicted exactly like that, but their dynamic and the way they function and the way that Drew functions gives that. Ralph say get him, and she get him. She don't get him too good, but she get him. It's really sad though. Drew, she did not say, we're trying to figure out how busy y'all actually are. That's not what she said. And you quoting that shit like it's Bible, like you was standing up there. Like, see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? She wasn't even over there, but she's so sure that she got the dialogue down pat, and she don't, because that's not what Sanya said. Now, you can take it how you want it, regardless of how she said it, but if you gonna quote a quote right and you don't have it right, but you so sure that you do because your head is so far up your husband's ass. Like, honoring your husband is not being his bitch. And I mean that in a dog sense. Honoring your husband means honoring him, holding him accountable, holding him up, this and that and the third. It doesn't mean you just take everything that he say as Bible and run with it and attack people just because he says so and just because you think that's what you're supposed to do as a wife. Sometimes as a wife, you need to shut the fuck up. Not just as it concerns your husband, but in general. Sometimes your husband's battles don't need to be your battles because your husband don't need to be in the midst of no battles with no woman. No way. Your husband is messy and being catty, and you're participating because you're acting like you're his bitch and not like you're his wife. So Kenya texting Candy saying, I'm pulling up, girl, come out. Candy say, I'm going to the bathroom, y'all. Tisk. Here, let me clarify just a bit more before we bring Kenya in what I'm saying about Drew. To honor your husband in this particular sector, which I'm speaking on and what I'm observing about Drew. To honor your husband, you validate his feelings, you validate when he's right, lift him up as much as you can. Yes, but acknowledge and hold him accountable when he's wrong and when he's out of line. Is he wrong for feeling however he feels about how that conversation turned out with Sanya? Not necessarily. He's entitled to his feelings. But going back to your wife and putting a battery in her back and putting all types of bugs in her ear for her to go sick a bitch is catty. And if Drew had a mind of her own, then she would be able to pick up on it. But because her mind is enthralled and Ralph is an inner voice in her head, she ain't got it. You ain't got it because you can't get it. Okay? So that's what I'm saying. To honor your husband should not require you to dismiss your intuition, your individuality, what's right. You know what I'm saying? You honoring your husband should not include making him your savior. Honor your husband You're not supposed to worship your husband. You worship deities. When you start worshiping human beings, that is called idolization. Doesn't the Bible say some things about that? Enough of her. Come through, Kenya. Boom, look who steps in the room. Kenya arrives, and Marlo is crunchy. Crunchy like she crunching on their food. Tisk. So she get in, they take shots. Them like some good shots too. Like they took a couple of them too. I want some. Hand me a little bit. Hand me a little bit through the screen if you can. Shit. Stank. Anywho, so Kenya arrives, take a seat. They take their shots and whatnot. After Marlo gives this mad crunchy face, she tells Kenya she look real pretty and all that shit. And they get to asking her, oh, you know, you can't, I didn't know. And Marlo talking about, in the confessional, Marlo talking about she hurt because Kenzie knew she had to know that Kenya was coming and she ain't say nothing and all this other stuff. Girl, shut up. So they asking Kenya, you know what I'm saying, what's the haps on the craps? Kenya said she got her house out there. She ain't finna be staying with them because Brookie is coming. And, you know, she gonna keep her with her and they gonna be like this here. And Candy is like, what you mean? How you not gonna, you know what I'm saying, stay with everybody? You here, you might as well stay with everybody. What is it giving? And Kenya is like, well, you know, you made such a big deal out of it before. Talking about, I think it's been a couple of other times, though, where Kenya has brought the baby and they make a big deal out of it. But specifically last season when they had the bachelor party and Kenya brought her babe and they was all mad that she took a private jet and they was mad she had the nanny and all of this other dumbass shit. It was stupid to be getting mad over in the first place. And then now that she's doing something different to accommodate what you chewed her out about and made such a big deal over, now you got a problem with that. Same way I felt with the whole vibrating panties thing and all of that. Y'all caught this lady Kenya Moore whore for years, accused her trying to fuck with folks' husbands and all of that shit. And now that she picked the times and places where she be frisky, then that's a problem too. Shut up. But we also know that Kenya ain't really trying to stay with them because she ain't really trying to be around Marlo like talking about. And she ain't trying to stay in nowhere that Marlo done accommodated. And the ultimate flex for her to show up on Marlo's trip and be like, oh, I got me a house out here. A house. A cabin cute, but I got me a house out here. Okay. For me and my baby. I feel you, girl.
She apologized. She was free there. That was good. And then she invited me. Then she uninvited me. Y'all listen to each other, don't you? Well, you need to tell her she needs to listen. I'm working on it.
So the conversation takes a turn to about Drew and Sanya or whatever, because they was talking about good vibes and all that shit, and Candy was like, well, your vibe gonna be killed when Sanya get here. Of course, because every time Sanya name get brought up, she go to looking like Marlo. Anywho, so they get to talking about that and whatnot, and Drew is trying to stress, oh, I don't have a problem with her. She got a problem with me. She uninvited me and she invited me and all. Girl, shut up. Shut it up. Because you're participating in the foolishness. You are participating. And not only are you participating, you letting your husband get involved, and you keeping up the foolishness. You finding little shit to nitpick over. I.e., oh, you're coming for my name now? You're coming for my name? Girl, shut up. Okay, so before I touch on what got me cackling, Sanya arrives. And it's hella excitement. We'll get into the inciting shit in a minute. But it's hella excitement. And Kenya is asking her what she been doing. She said, girl, I've been out doing it well on a fitness tip. And the red carpet is being rolled out for her as it concerns the gig that she getting, and they are getting flown out to Jamaica, and everybody can come and everybody can bring a +1. So they tell Marlo that she needs to get her a main so she can bring her a main. And then they tell, well, Kenya asks Drew, is she gonna be on her best behavior? And y'all, if Sanya really was trying to fight and bicker with Drew on some shit, if she was genuinely trying to have an issue with Drew, like, that would have been a perfect opportunity to have an issue with Drew or some shit. It's quite a few moments where it would have been a perfect opportunity to start some issues with Drew if she really wanted some issues with Drew. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Anywho, what was he talking about? Yeah, Sanya, fresh up in the game, already putting down a cash trip. I'm here for it, girl. I'm here for it. All right. So now let's get into the inciting of the foolishness. Here she goes. Marlo starting shit and power playing. So she asks Kenya, is she going to be staying at the house? Kenya said, I don't know. I'll let you know, girl. We'll see. And Marlo says, well, when are you going to let me know? And Ken's like, girl, you'll know when I tell you. And she's talking about, well, I'm really glad you're here and I want you to participate with all of us, but if you're not going to be staying at the house, then you're not going to be able to participate in everything that's going on the trip. Girl, if the producers give her the call time and tell her to show up, then she going to be there just like she was there just now. The thing is here, Marlo, your peach ain't as big as you think it is. It ain't as furry as you think it is. It ain't as ripe as you think it is. It ain't as crunchy with a balance of softness like you think it is. It ain't like you think it is, girl. You might need a piece of that delusional candle yourself, you know? If you think that you got the pull to be icing out Kenya, girl, bye. And that's why Kenya just looked like, here we go. Here we go. Finna have to cuss this bitch out. Finna have to cuss this bitch out. Please cuss her out, Kenya. And this also says a lot about Marlo and how she feels a need to do so much, because this is totally unnecessary. This is totally unnecessary as fuck to even be doing this, to be talking about, oh, if you don't stay at the house, then you can't participate. It's given, this is my house, and if you don't follow my rules, you gotta get out. Like you somebody's mama or something. You barely trying to be a Monty. Tisk, power play. You had to do something to feel powerful, because she really showed up, showed out, and sunned you in the most simplest of ways. She showed up when she got ready. She did not need your accommodations. She did not need the rest of your accommodations because she has a house out there. And I think on top of all of that, the fact that she doesn't have to rely on you and your accommodations and your cabin and your food and all this and that, because she does not have to rely on you, you really feeling crunchy over there. Not only did she show up, but she showed up without a need to rely on you. So now you got to pull a power play and try to sun her type shit. And you're doing it in front of everybody, so that you can try to make her feel small and make yourself feel big. You already big, you big bitch. Marlo, you're a disrespectful bitch. You're a disrespectful bitch. What Kenya said about you is exactly true. So, hold up, let me rewind. So... Child, so they are getting into it as they get into it. Shout out to Miss Misha over there. So Kenya gets into telling Marlo what her issues are with her, and it's pretty much the same thing that I've been saying, that everybody else been saying. Marlo, you fake, you low down, you's a bitch. Period. And don't nobody want to have to deal with that shit. You say you want to be friends with Kenya, but then you drag the fuck out of her with every type of low blow that you can pull out of your ass, and every type of projection that you can pull out of your ass. It just makes absolutely no fucking sense. Don't nobody want to have to deal with that shit. But before Kenya could even get that shit out good, we had to sit through a plethora of moments of Marlo interrupting her and acting like Drew. Not listening, and everybody trying to counsel Marlo into shutting the fuck up so that she can listen and have an adult conversation. And so, child, as soon as Kenya starts talking again, she interrupts her again, talking about, well, hey, can you just keep that same energy when I start talking? Marlo, can you go get some therapy so that you can stop coming off like a 5-year-old? A 5-year-old with a diaper rash? It's not giving, and it's not cute. It's not. So then Marlo starts talking about, I get all of that and I hate you feel that way, but I just feel like I should be able to tell you how I feel. I shouldn't have to bite my tongue for you and all this and that. You're mad because I feel like you were, hold up, let me try to do the Marlo voice. You're mad because you feel like I was, it's a little close to my own. I'm part of the husky voice crew, yeah ma'am. Okay, but yeah. And she's like, what you're really mad about is the fact that I said you were lying about being sick. And I still believe that way. I still feel that way. And I just feel like I should be able to tell you what I need to tell you. I don't want to bite my tongue for you. And you know, I come from a rough upbringing. No mom, no dad, and this and that. I should be able to look up to you. I should be able to follow you. You should be leading. Marlo, shut the entire fuck up. This girl is not your mama. And you are grown as fuck. You are grown. And always constantly trying to blame somebody else and make somebody else responsible not only for your bullshit, but also for your healing. Get the fuck out of here. It is nobody's fault at this point that you are fucked up besides your own. You are old as fuck. Okay? And that's not to age shame. That's to be fucking real. How many decades do you need to get therapy and do something with it? You got every motherfucking thing else. You got everything to say except a therapist to say it to. Every motherfucking thing in the world except a therapist. And some goddamn sense. Also just reiterates, confirms, and validates to me that it's jealousy going on. You admire Kenya so much that you are obsessed with her to a point where you want to micromanage and control and have power over everything that comes to her. And because you can't and she won't allow you to, you then have to try to insult her, cut her down, and make her feel like you do, if not worse, which is jealousy, which is envy, which is straight up, low down, narcissistic, sociopathic, a whole motherfucking clinical case study at this bitch. And you got the motherfucking nerve to have such a slick ass mouth about any motherfucking body. Baby, slick that mouth to a fucking therapist. Slick that mouth to somebody that's gonna really give you a run for your motherfucking money, that don't give a goddamn about none of that shit that you be talking about, that's gonna rip your ass to shreds with just they orators. Goddamn, you're gonna think that they orators was the motherfucking stepsisters from Cinderella, the way they tear your ass up. I want to see you do that with somebody for real, that can read your ass the fuck. Now, Kenya can read you down, but Kenya is in a different place in life right now. I'm talking about, I want to see Marlo go at it with somebody like K. Michelle. And then we'll talk. Then maybe we'll get some motherfucking act right out of her if we can get her around somebody like a K. Michelle, or even like a Jocelyn Hernandez that can just effortlessly tell her to fuck up without even trying, and you can barely understand what the fuck Jocelyn even be saying. But y'all, let's go ahead and get through with the rest of this. Y'all hold Marlo accountable for being a stupid ass bitch. How about y'all speak up and say, Marlo, you're being a stupid ass bitch, like you're always being a stupid ass bitch. Can you please stop being a stupid ass bitch and not fuck up your own trip? How about y'all? So child, just to wrap up the episode, that conversation got nowhere, needless to say, because Marlo is constantly getting nowhere in her mindset and in her spiritual set. Yeah, so Kenya said what she said. She meant what she said. I agree with everything that she said. And Marlo continues to be a stupid fucking bitch. I don't know why the other ladies don't speak up to, like they did when she was being interruptive, but they should do it more. Like the same energy that folks be having with Drew to like get her to conduct herself like she got some fucking sense sometimes. The same thing should be done with Marlo as well, because Marlo really be running a fucking muck and doing a goddamn most. But yeah, Marlo is miserable, and she's very, very obsessed with Kenya and also jealous of her. And it's very weird. It's very weird. It's very unsettling. And it's also very frustrating. But not going to sit up here and keep repeating myself about this. Oh, dang, child. We have milked this cow dry, and we're gonna find out whether or not Kenya stayed the night, whether she left or whatever, what have you, by time next week's episode come through. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this thing on up out of here. I'm so glad that you allowed me an ounce of your divine timing. It's my royal goal to grace you with education and enlightenment, honey. Be sure to bless my comment section with your questions and conversations. And as always, I bid you all light, love, healing, and liberation. Emphasis on liberation. Mwah.